Dependence Industries was initially established as a little material producer by Dior Ambani in 1966. In 1979, Dhirubhai's child Mukesh moved to Palo Alto, California to go to Stanford Business School. After a year, Mukesh got back at the command of his dad to administer the development of another polyester plant, during which time he additionally joined Reliance Industries Loadup, maybe then moving back to the US to complete his college program. Mukesh stayed in India to lead Reliance's regressive incorporation drive. During the 1990s, he initiated the organization's endeavors to make, just as procure, different petrochemical plants and oil treatment facilities. In 2002, Dhirubhai experienced a stroke and died. The absence of a will brought about a fight among Mukesh and his sibling Anil over how their dad's domain would be appropriated. After 3 years, as the consequence of a settlement expedited by their mom, the kin consented to part the business, with Mukesh holding command over refining, petrochemicals, oil and gas, and material operations. This didn't totally facilitate the pressure between the two siblings, as they would neither resolve a lawful argument about sharing petroleum gas nor disintegrate their non-contend arrangements until 2010. In 2013, Mukesh and Anil apparently called a truce with the declaration of a $220 million settlement to divide a fiber optic organization among their two organizations. Dependence Industries has set up a few profoundly effective auxiliaries under Mukesh's initiative, including Reliance Retail and Media Communications Organization Jio. He is additionally an individual from the Foundation Board of the World Economic Forum, a chosen foreign member of the United States National Academy of Engineering, an individual from the Global Advisory Council of Bank of America, and an individual from the International Advisory Council of the Brookings Institution. What makes Google one of a kind, contrasted with different organizations highlighted on this rundown, is that its prime supporters are generally close as far as all-out abundance. Sergey Brin's contribution in Google follows a comparable way to Page's. After the pair established the organization in 1998, Brin filled in as co-president close by Page until Eric Schmidt took over as chief in 2001. Essentially, in the wake of establishing letters in order in 2015, Brin went about as the holding organization's leader prior to venturing down in 2019 when Sundar Pichai took over as CEO, in expansion to being an exceptionally mainstream web search tool. Google additionally offers a setup of online devices and administrations, known as Google Work Area, which incorporates Gmail, Google Drive, Google Schedule, Google Meet, Google Talk, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and more. In option to programming, Google likewise bargains in a wide assortment of electronic gadgets, including its Pixel cell phones, its Pixelbook PCs and tablets, its Home Shrewd home gadgets, and its Stadia gaming stage. Brin spent a lot of 2019 zeroing in on X, letters in the orders Moonshot Research Lab, which is answerable for inventive advances like the Waymo self-driving vehicles and Google Glass savvy glasses. He has additionally given the large number of dollars toward investigating a solution for Parkinson's and cooperated with the Michael J. Fox establishment to devise new medications against LRRK2, one of the best hereditary supporters of the infection. Like a few tech tycoons on this rundown, Larry Page's distinguishing strength got its beginning in a school apartment. While going to Stanford College in 1995, Page and his companion Sergey Brin thought of further developing information extraction capacities while getting to the web. The pair contrived another sort of internet searcher innovation they named Backrub, named after its capacity to investigate backing joins. From that point, Page and Brin went on to establish Google in 1998, with the previous filling in as president of the organization until he ventured down in 2001. Google is one of the biggest web indexes on Earth, representing over 70% of worldwide online pursuit demands. In 2006, Google, the organization, extended by buying YouTube, the greatest stage for client-submitted recordings. Then, at that point, 2008 saw the arrival of the primary cell phone using the Android working framework, which was initially evolved by Android Inc. before Google getting the organization in 2005. Today, Google is an auxiliary of Letterset, a holding organization for which Page filled in as chief from 2015 to 2019. Page is likewise an establishing financial backer of Planetary Assets, a space investigation and space rock mining organization. Initially settled in 2009, the organization was gained by blockchain firm ConsenSys in 2018 in the midst of financing issues. He has likewise shown a premium in flying vehicle organizations, having put resources into both Kitty Bird of Prey and Opener. After exiting the College of Chicago in 1966, Larry Ellison moved to California and filled in as a software engineer for a few organizations throughout the long term. To begin with, in 1973, he was a representative of the hardware organization Ampex, where he met future accomplices Ed Oates and Bounce Digger. After 3 years, Ellison joined Accuracy Instruments, filling in as the organization's VP of Exploration and Development. By 1977, Ellison had established Programming Advancement Labs, SDL, close by Oates and Digger, which, after 2 years, delivered the Prophet, the primary business social information base program to use organized inquiry language. The dataset program demonstrated so famous that SDL would change its name to Profit Frameworks Enterprise in 1982. Moreover, Ellison joined Tesla's board in December 2018. Oracle is the second biggest programming organization and gives a wide assortment of distributed computing programs just as other programming, like Java and Linux, and the Prophet Exadata registering platform. The business has likewise developed through the obtaining of a few significant organizations, including HR the Executives Frameworks supplier PeopleSoft in 2005, client relationship the Board Applications supplier Siebel in 2006, Undertaking Foundation programming supplier B Frameworks in 2008, and equipment and programming engineer at Sun Microsystems in 2009. Ellison has burned through millions in extravagance land in the course of the last decade, dominating in California. Likely his greater use, Ellison purchased almost the whole Hawaiian island of Lanai for $300 million, fabricating a tank farming homestead and extravagant spa there. He has additionally given the huge number of dollars to worthy missions throughout the long term, especially to clinical examination. Most as of late, in 2016. Ellison gave $200 million to the College of Southern California for another disease research focus. The most renowned living worth financial backer Warren Buffett documented his first assessment form in 1944 at age 14, pronouncing his income from his childhood newspaper beat. He previously purchased shares in a material organization called Berkshire Hathaway in 1962, turning into the larger part investor by 1965. He extended the organization to protection and different interests in 1967. Presently, Berkshire Hathaway is a $500 billion organization, with a solitary portion of stock exchanging at more than $410,000 per share in mid-2021. Generally known as the "Prophet of Omaha," Buffett made most of his fortune through buying partakes in organizations with straightforward business activities. While numerous financial backers have been packing into tech organizations, Buffett has decided on a more mindful methodology, just purchasing from grounded organizations that are more obvious, like IBM and Apple. He is likewise a prominent Bitcoin doubter. Moreover, Buffett has additionally by and large bought an extended rundown of organizations throughout the long term, including Dairy Sovereign, Duracell, Geico, and Kraft Heinz. Outside of contributing, Buffett has coordinated quite a bit of his abundance toward altruistic undertakings. Somewhere in the range of 2006 and 2020, Buffett parted with $41 billion, most of which went to either the Bill and Melinda Dawes establishment, or his kids' causes. Buffett dispatched the giving vow close by Bill Dawes in 2010. Imprint. Zuckerberg originally created Facebook close by individual understudies Eduardo Saverin, Dustin Moskovitz, and Chris Hughes while going to Harvard College in 2004. As Facebook was utilized at different colleges, Zuckerberg exited Harvard to zero in totally on his developing business. Today, Zuckerberg is the chief and seat of Facebook, which had more than 2.8 billion month-to-month dynamic clients as of Q1 2021. Facebook is the world's biggest interpersonal interaction administration, empowering its clients to make an individual profile, associate with loved ones, join or make gatherings, and considerably more. As the site is allowed to utilize the greater part of the organization's income is created through promoting Facebook. The organization is additionally host to a few different brands, including photograph sharing application Instagram, which it procured in 2012, cross-stage versatile informing administration WhatsApp, and computer-generated reality headset maker Oculus, both obtained in 2014. Working environment, its undertaking availability stage, entry, its line of video calling gadgets, and Norvi, its computerized wallet for the DM installment framework. Zuckerberg and his better half, Priscilla Chan, established the Chan-Zuckerberg Drives in 2015, with every one of them filling in as co-president. Their cause tries to use innovation to fix cultural ills, like working on the entrance and nature of instruction, improving both the criminal equity framework and the U.S. movement framework, further developing lodging reasonableness, and at last annihilating all illnesses. While going to Harvard College in 1975, Bill Entryways went to work close by his cherished companion Paul Allen to foster new programming for the first microcomputers. Following this current venture's prosperity, Entryways exited Harvard in his lesser year and went on to establish Microsoft with Allen. As well as being the biggest programming organization on the planet, Microsoft additionally delivers its own line of PCs, distributes books through Microsoft Press, gives email administrations through its trade worker, and sells computer game frameworks and related fringe gadgets. Initially Microsoft's main programming draftsman, Dawes later changed to the job of seat in 2008. He had joined Berkshire Hathaway's board in 2004. He ventured down from the 2 sheets on Walk 13, 2020. In 2000, Entryway's two generous associations, the William H. Dawes Establishment and the Entryways Learning Establishment, were converged to make the Bill and Melinda Entryways Establishment, of which he and his prospective ex-Melinda Entryways are co-chairs. Through the establishment, he has burned through billions to battle polio and intestinal sickness. Furthermore, he vowed $50 million out of 2014 to assist with battling Ebola. As of 2021, the establishment has spent more than $1.8 billion to battle the coronavirus pandemic. In 2010, close by Warren Buffett, Bill Entryways dispatched The Giving Promise, a mission empowering rich people to focus on giving most of their abundance to charitable causes. French public Bernard Arnault is the seat and president of LVMH, the world's biggest extravagance products organization. This business claims probably the greatest brands on earth, including Louis Vuitton, Hennessy, Marc Jacobs, Sephora, and some more. Most of his abundance, nonetheless, really comes from his huge stake in Christian Dior, the holding organization that controls 41.25% of LVMH. His offers in Christian Dior, in addition to an extra 6.2% in LVMH, are held through his family-claimed holding organization. Gathering Arnault, a designer to prepare, Arnault's business chops became clear while working for his dad's development firm, Ferret Savinel, which he would assume responsibility for in 1971. He later changed Ferret Savinel over to a land organization named Farinel Inc. in 1979. Arnault remained Farinel's seat for an additional 6 years, until he obtained and rearranged extravagance merchandise producer Financière Agache in 1984. Ultimately selling the entirety of its property other than Christian Dior and Le Bon Marché. He was welcome to put resources into LVMH in 1987 and turned into the greater part investor, seat of the board, and president of the organization 2 years after the fact. Elon Musk has had his hands in a few distinct organizations throughout the long term. Initially enlisted at Stanford College, Musk conceded his participation to dispatch Zip2, one of the soonest online route administrations. A part of the returns from this undertaking was then reinvested to make X.com, an online installment framework that later became PayPal. While both of these frameworks were ultimately offered to different organizations, Musk has kept up with his status as president and lead planner of his third undertaking, Space Investigation Advancements, SpaceX, which intends to make space investigation more reasonable. In 2004, Musk turned into a significant funder of Tesla engines, presently Tesla, which prompted him being retroactively announced a prime supporter and his flow position as president of the Electric Vehicle Organization. Notwithstanding its line of electric autos, which incorporate cars, sport utility vehicles, SUVs, and the Cybertruck declared in 2019, Tesla likewise produce energy stockpiling gadgets, auto adornments, stock, and, through its obtaining of Solar City in 2016, sunlight-based force frameworks. In 2020, Tesla's stock cost encountered a cosmic flood, having risen 705% from the beginning of the year to mid-December. It joined the S&P 500 that very month, the biggest organization added so far. In 2016, Musk established 2 additional organizations, Neuralink and the Exhausting Organization, with him filling in as the chief of the previous. Neuralink is creating mind-machine interface gadgets to help people experiencing loss of motion and conceivably permit clients to intellectually associate with their PCs and cell phones. The drilling organization, in the interim, creates drilling machines to bore burrows for underground open transportation frameworks, which would alleviate gridlock in significant urban communities. It additionally, momentarily, sold a handheld flamethrower. In 1994, Jeff Bezos established Amazon.com in a carport in Seattle, not long after he left the mutual funds monster D.E. Shaw. In truth, he had initially tested out the possibility of an online bookshop to his previous manager David E. Shaw, who wasn't intrigued. However, Amazon.com initially began selling books. It has since transformed into an all-in-one resource for anything and everything, and is apparently the world's biggest retailer. At any rate, it is difficult to debate its self-portrayal as the world's most client-driven company. Its example of steady broadening is apparent in a portion of its surprising extensions, which remember getting entire food sources for 2017 and dispatching its own marked over-the-counter medications in August 2017. In 2020, Amazon's offer cost soars on the elevated interest for internet shopping as lockdowns constrained purchases to remain at home. On July 5, 2021, Bezos ventured down as chief of the web-based business monster and progressed to his new job as its leader seat. Bezos initially took Amazon public in 1997 and proceeded to turn into the primary man since Bill entryways in 1999 to accomplish the total assets of more than $100 billion. Bezos' different activities incorporate aviation organization Blue Beginning, The Washington Post, which he bought in 2013, and the 10,000-year clock, otherwise called The Long at this point. On July 20, 2021, Bezos, his sibling imprint, avionics pioneer Wally Funk, and Dutch understudy Oliver Damen finished Blue Origin's first fruitful maintained flight, arriving at an elevation of simply over 62 miles prior to landing securely.